Dr. Marcus Webb stepped into the Celestial Museum of Xenarch, an ancient space station that had been cataloging alien civilizations for millennia. The Xantherii curators had invited him specifically, the first human allowed within these halls. They wanted to show him proof of their superiority, their thousand-year dominance over every species they'd encountered. The centerpiece of the exhibition was a massive crystalline display case. Inside rested a skull unlike any Marcus had ever seen. It was enormous, easily the size of a human torso, with an architecture that suggested immense intelligence and power. The bone structure indicated a species that had ruled with absolute authority. Plaques beneath it described the Celestial Emperor, a being who had conquered 17 star systems and enslaved 32 sentient species. The Xantherii curator, a tall figure with iridescent skin, gestured proudly. "This is Emperor Vrask VII. He united our people under one vision. His reign lasted 300 years. No other civilization has produced a leader of such caliber." Other curators nodded in agreement. They had brought Marcus here to demonstrate that humans were merely the latest addition to a long list of conquered peoples. Their intention was clear: bow before antiquity and accept the inevitable. But Marcus stared at the skull with growing unease. "May I approach?" he asked. The curators granted permission, their confidence unshakable. Marcus moved close, his eyes scanning every detail of the ancient bone. The structure of the jaw. The density of the cranium. The peculiar wear patterns on the teeth. Then he saw it. "These teeth," Marcus said slowly, his voice steady but carrying an edge the curators didn't recognize. "They're human." Silence flooded the museum. "That's impossible," the lead curator said. "Emperor Vrask was Xantherii. Our greatest leader." Marcus turned to face them, his expression grave. "No. Emperor Vrask was human. Or at least, half-human. Look at the dental structure, the premolars, the molars, the canine development. That's distinctly human anatomy. I've studied enough xenodentistry to recognize the signature." "You're mistaken," another curator insisted. "Our records are perfect. We have documented every detail of Emperor Vrask's reign." Marcus gestured to the display. "Your records are wrong. Or deliberately falsified. This skull shows evidence of genetic markers that can only come from human ancestry. The bone density, the structural proportions, they're hybrid. Your greatest emperor was part human." The curators exchanged glances, their confidence beginning to crack. The lead curator approached the display, examining it more carefully than he apparently had in centuries. "This is impossible," he whispered. Marcus continued, his voice growing stronger. "What's not impossible is this: at some point in your history, you encountered humans. Not the weaklings you met recently, but humans from a different era, a different world. And instead of conquering them, you were conquered by them. Or more accurately, your species was changed by them. Your greatest leader, the one who unified your people, wasn't purely Xantherii. He was human. Or descended from humans." The curator's jaw tightened. "If this is true—" "It is true," Marcus interrupted. "And here's what it means. You've spent centuries displaying this skull as proof of Xantherii superiority. But what you've actually been displaying is proof that human DNA is so adaptable, so resilient, that it can transform an entire civilization. Your emperor didn't rule because he was Xantherii. He ruled because he carried human blood, the blood of a species that refused to accept limits." Marcus stepped back from the display. "You wanted to show me that humans would eventually bow to your ancient might. Instead, you've shown me that humans already rewrote your entire history. Your greatest achievements weren't purely yours. They were ours. Shared. Hybrid. Human influence runs deeper in your civilization than you ever understood." The museum fell into profound silence. Over the following weeks, the Xantherii began investigating their own records. DNA analysis confirmed Marcus's assessment. Emperor Vrask had indeed carried human genetic material. Archaeological evidence suggested that human explorers had visited Xanthariai space thousands of years ago, not as conquerors, but as travelers whose genetic legacy became woven into the very fabric of Xanthariai civilization. The revelation shattered the narrative of Xanthariai supremacy. But it revealed something more profound: humanity's influence wasn't through conquest or force. It was through the simple act of encountering other species and being so fundamentally alive, so adaptable, that they could reshape civilizations merely by existing within them. The Xanthariai had conquered 32 species with weapons and will. Humanity had conquered civilizations without ever raising a hand, simply by being undeniably, inescapably human. The museum's greatest display became a monument to that truth. Kindly like and subscribe channel. Thank you.